Today's video is made possible by our good friends at SimpliSafe, where there's no safe like SimpliSafe. We are in ground zero.
I have never seen water like that coming down here. It's filling both sides.
A half a mile of riverfront to the north that is raising up and threatening to go over the banks. My big concern is going to be next week for the very reason that the ground now is completely saturated and can't take any more water.
My goodness, look at that.
And look at it raging. My goodness, cubic feet of water coming down through there is pretty awesome.
We live at the confluence of two rivers that come together right to the east. Both of them are threatening to burst their banks.
Normally this is just a pretty small creek.
You see, gentlemen, West Coast people are brave.
Goodness.
Ah, you can just hear it roaring. This is normally a small little meandering river. My goodness.
Many years ago, I saw this photo of a man who had bermed or ditched all the way around his house, and he was the only house in the community that was able to save it because he must have had an excavator or a cat or something. And it always impressed me. I thought, man, that's a can-do guy. That's the American spirit right there, finding a way to save your property in natural disaster. And I thought, if this water gets anywhere close, like jumps the banks, I will be getting all my equipment out and doing exactly the same thing. I don't care if I have to spend 6 months putting the yard back in order. I'd rather have that than a flooded house. And from there, it even gets worse. My parents recently passed away, and we inherited their rentals. We've got a great big cedar tree that, because of the storm and the rain, is falling and leaning and threatening to fall on a bunch of cars. So I got to get prepped up, get all the saws and all of the climbing gear and everything ready to go tackle that first thing in the morning. So we'll finish up by putting all that gear together. I got to make a 2-hour drive to go head that off. Gentlemen, have you been thinking about installing a home security system for your home? Now is the best time of the year. Our friends at SimpliSafe are offering 50% off your system if you sign up for active monitoring, and you get your first month for free. It's December. This is when your house is at highest risk. You got packages on the porch, you got freezing weather, which could freeze your pipes and have a catastrophic effect if you're away from home, not to mention fire damage. Chimney fires are common in winter, as well as the burning of candles for the holidays. SimpliSafe is a great system because you can install it yourself. There are no contracts, you can cancel it anytime, and the coolest part about it is you can install it yourself in usually less than about 90 minutes. That's what we use to protect our home. Let me give you a little walk around. I'll show you how we set our system up, some of the cool features that they have that are unlike anything out there, and I guess why we decided to protect our home with a SimpliSafe system. My favorite component of our SimpliSafe system is, without a doubt, the wireless cameras. This is our entry, our front door. These little wireless cameras we have set 360 degrees around the property. And we get notifications on our phone apps when anyone comes inside the perimeter. Not only that, but if we're not home and someone's at the door, we get a notification on our phone and we can communicate back and forth to this. And with Advanced Guard, if you have the monitoring system, the folks that monitor at SimpliSafe can actually interact and see what's going on in your home if you're not there or you're out of reach or out of cell range. The other thing about these cameras that's really cool is you don't have to drill holes. So you don't have to worry about running wires. Wherever you can put in a screw and just magnetically attach these, you've got 360 degree coverage or better. They've also got AI built into these now that they didn't used to have when we first had our system, that you can program to recognize frequent visitors. For example, if you don't want a notification when your neighbor comes over to check on your dogs, your UPS guy, or your own family, you don't have to have that. So you only get notifications when someone is at your home that is not supposed to be there. As much as I love the cameras and having the ability to communicate or see what's going on my property from anywhere in the world via my phone, the keyless entry. I have not carried a set of keys since I bought my Super Duty, which has this sort of touchpad, and we installed these on our entries. I can come in, I don't have to worry about keys, I put the code in, not a problem. For example, you get an alarm that the water froze and your whole house is flooding because you've got a water sensor in your entry. You could call someone, you could call your neighbors, they could come in, you could give them the code to the door right over the speaker system, they could go in and do something about it. You know, in the past you'd have to contact your neighbors and hide a key, so that's really, really nice. We've used that multiple times for family members that needed to get in, or we could give them access remotely. So super, super handy. I'll tell you the truth, gentlemen, having your home covered with a Simply Safe system is an incredible peace of mind. Just knowing who's around your home from anywhere, you can check in, you can make sure that you don't have to deal with frozen pipes, you'll get notification. It's a system you can install yourself with no skill. Active monitoring is about $1 a day. They will call emergency services, fire department, if you're not there to interact. It's just a great system. We've installed 4 between multiple houses and shops, and we just use it regularly. And there's never been a better time to order one than right now. 50% off. If you'd like to take advantage of that and install your own system, you can start customizing it. You can order what you want. You can build, you can add. It really is easy. No skill required. Even a professional homeowner can install it. But I invite you to go to simplysafe.com/Wranglerstar. Build your system out, get your house protected for the holidays, and remember, there's no safe like Simply Safe. It's 2 hours away, so it's not like I can come back home if I forget something, so I'm gonna probably take more than I need. This potentially could be over a bunch of power lines, and if that's the case, I'm gonna have to make a hard decision whether I'm willing to take that on or not. I can climb, I've climbed and felled top trees before, but I don't have a ground crew. And without a ground crew, it's just, the risk is just too high to get up there by yourself, and I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna take a couple saws with me. I am not super comfortable doing this type of work with only one big saw. Normally I always have 2. I had a 441, but I ended up selling that to my friend, and the idea I was gonna buy a replacement because I like to have 2 big saws. This might be a perfect excuse to go down to the still shop on the way out and buy that new 500i. I think I could probably swing that. I know we're in a no spend year. Mrs. W would take a dim view of that, but well, there is a need, right, gentlemen? Having an extra bar is kind of the poor man's second chainsaw. The reason why you often need a second saw is you do something and you get your bar pinched. If that happens, you can just unbolt the power head, leave the bar in the kerf, bolt on a new one, and cut your saw out. So it's really a good idea to do that. Plus, I want to take a 36. I've got a 32 on the power head, but a 36 I might need with a tree of that size. It's a pretty good sized cedar. And of course, chaps, safety equipment, chaps, hard hat, climbing belt with a trauma kit and a scrunch tool. And this is a axe sheath for pounding wedges. I'll grab a bigger pounder as well. We'll take 3 big wedges, 4 big wedges, and 2 little ones. If you ever come across the old school milk crates, they are so much better than the ones you can buy now. They have full steel bands around them. They'll last a lifetime. And they're really great for Dalmars because these Dalmars have got bar oil in them. They'll fall over on the back of your truck. It's happened to all of us, leak all over the place. So it keeps them from falling over. I keep my boots inside. I hate putting cold boots on. Keep them in the cab so they're nice and warm when you put them on. Then you have to, when you lace them, you don't have to keep adjusting them as the leather warms up. Small parts kit. You guys have seen this before. When I'm doing tree work or cutting firewood, these are the pieces that I recommend you take. Have an extra air filter, a Stihl brand, don't buy a cheap one, pull cord, an extra file, a carburetor screwdriver, these little ones that come with your saw. Throw in a file handle as well and some hearing protection, a depth gauge or raker gauge. In the small parts kit are the things that you're going to need to keep your saw running. You're going to have extra bar nuts. These are consumables. These are the little rub rails for the inside of your cover in case you drop those. A spark plug, a pilot bearing, and spring clutches. That pretty much, with that, will keep you going indefinitely. With this kit, I've never not been able to fix a saw. In here, some AMSOIL. I really like the AMSOIL 2-stroke mix. I've been running this in my dirt bike. I've got 1,000 hours on the original engine and bottom end by running this. And these are handy. These are just do 1 gallon, so you can rip them off and take them. It's a great way to carry 2-stroke oil. I'm gonna have an extra scrunch tool. I keep one on my faller's belt, but you lose it and you're out of luck, so having an extra one. A file for sharpening, a flat file for dealing with the depth gauges of the rakers, and I've got a handful of round files in there. And so that kind of makes up, this is the kit that goes along with the saw support kit. I'm gonna bring a silky pole saw. Silky pole saw, it telescopes and it gives you the ability to cut branches. Well, I'm not gonna take that way off the ground. These are really amazing tools, and you can usually deal with a lot of problems and not have to climb, which is always a better idea. So we'll take that. Of course, a peavey, a hookaroon, and I will take some climbing gear. This is all my climbing gear. I've got a 200-foot bull rope in here. I've got all this stuff, friction device and harness and climbing spurs and all that. But again, without a ground crew, I'm not going to do that. But I will take, I'll just take it all. It all fits in this big Pelican case. Why not? Also, I'll take some straps, come along, and a more power puller, and some big shackles, and then all my winching equipment. If it looks gnarly, like it's gonna fall in the neighbor's house or something, I could redirect it. I can use the winch on the truck. I got a 16,000 pound winch on the front of the truck, and I've got all my winch rigging in there already. So this will give me the ability to redirect or at least put some pressure on it if it comes to that, which I hope it won't. Engage the boomer step. I'll bet none of you have a Pelican case this big. I was at a thrift store years ago and I saw this and I couldn't believe it. I went and asked the lady how much it was. There was no price on it. And I don't remember what she said. I was expecting she was gonna say like $200 or $300 and I wouldn't have bought it. And I think she said, oh, those cases are nice. I think it was like 40 bucks, 40 bucks. And I said, I'll take it. In all honesty, I'm feeling a little sheepish about all the trash I've talked on arborists over the years. The irony is certainly not lost on me. I would very much like to have an arborist proho to come advise me and give me some encouragement on this project, but it's only down to me. Not an expert, but we will do our best. I'm not going to put myself at risk though. If it's gnarly, if it's dangerous, if there's a chance of destroying massive property destruction or life, I'm going to walk away from it and I'll bring a professional in. I don't need to do it, but I will. If I can, I absolutely will. All right, gentlemen, may God bless you and your families. Subscribe, follow, come with me tomorrow. Next video, we'll be looking at the tree and see if it's something we want to take on or not, but we'll be there tomorrow bright and early. Keep us in your prayers. We'll see you guys on the next video.